Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action at the cryptocurrency market, including the Bitcoin price chart, along with the altcoin market. We take a peek over there at the United States stock market, which is closed today. But we'll also take a peek over there at precious metals like gold and silver and the US dollar currency index, or the DXY. And then we'll also take a peek over there at any type of financial news and any type of crypto news as we get ready to kick off our day. We're halfway through the week. And let me do this early because I kind of forgot to last time. But halfway through the week means we're halfway to the weekend. Happy Wednesday.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday, my dudes.
All right, let's go. What is up, everybody? Thank you for all the frogs there in the chat. Looks like we got 700 people right out the gate. Let's go. Today, welcome. We got quite a bit to talk about out here. I have already released a video this morning, so we'll be competing with that. Typically, when I do something like that, release a video 30 minutes before Markets in the Morning, we have a little bit of lower viewership in here as people are watching that instead, which is totally fine. But let's see, what are we talking about? Markets are closed today. So here in the United States, today is called Juneteenth. So June 19th, it's a celebration of the Emancipation Proclamation. So U.S., like a lot of countries, a little bit of a dirty history to us here. We did have slavery here in the United States. And back in 1862, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. And this is to celebrate that. That we would no longer have slavery here in the United States. So that is what today's holiday is. And due to that, the markets are closed. At least the United States stock market is closed today. Of course, crypto's 24-hour market. It doesn't care what holiday we have, or if it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Juneteenth, it doesn't matter. We're open 24/7. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Obviously, we've had an interesting week out here in the cryptocurrency market. Big thing over here has been what's been going on with the altcoin market, and it's got me tingling a little bit of excitement, just kind of where we're at in the process of how we've gotten here. We've talked about this for quite some time. It reminds me of, it was really like these last 2 weeks have just kind of reminded me of exactly what it was like at the bottom for Bitcoin, because really almost the exact identical thing. I almost played the bottom of Bitcoin really kind of identical to how all of this ended up playing out back in 2022. I remember buying Bitcoin back here in like June and July of 2022, and then just kind of setting stops. And then I remember all my stops got hit and I got completely stopped out in here. And then it became boom, buying it all up down here at these lows once it had settled. And then the market ended up ripping from after the FTX collapse. And it's been just played and happened the exact same identical way in here right now. So in the video that I released today, we started talking a whole lot about how these endings do come into a conclusion in here, taking a peek at different charts from the past to show you how they work out in here. We've even seen things like this in the United States dollar currency index, or the DXY. We look at it like this and it just looks like a big old mess in here, but you can even go back and replay it and take a peek and see that's what the bottom looked like. Right? You hold in here and then you go boom, you go take it out like that. And then eventually you start working your way back up. And that's how the bottom ends up getting formed. In the video that I released today, we also take a peek back to the past. We go look at other things. Of course, you guys are all very familiar with XRP. It's how it is. Many times we'll refer to this as the crashing structure, and that this is the seventh wave that comes in to conclude it at the very end, right? It'll take out the low, and that ends up being it. But we can go look at things even like Algorand from back in the past to kind of understand where we are, right? You could just like look at the structure right in here of where we are, right? The big fall, holds the low, then eventually the low gets taken, right? And then boom, there we are. You can see that's really how many times lows do get put in here. And we've done that many, many times throughout the past. Just to kind of give you an example of what lows are. And of course, that also is really just, you know, what happened here as well, right? That's how those lows end up getting put into place. But just kind of give you an example of how it works out in here. And then you take your low and then, you know, there you go. And so we'll shift us on over here to see that's what we got, right? So, at this point now, it's all about, all right, well, how do we play this at this point? You guys have seen the tweets. We talked about it in the videos, you know, that this would be my YOLO zone. And in yesterday's video saying, hey, look, to keep an eye over there on Cardano, keep an eye over there on Arbitrum, keep an eye on Cosmos to make sure we just kind of hold steady here. Sure enough, we have. Look at the whole market. The market has gone green. But in today's video, really kind of talking about, well, how do these things typically end up playing out when we do get down in here? And this is going to be for a lot of the people who are seasoned vets of the channel who have been through different time periods of when bottoms usually come in. And many times, right, and it's not every time, but many times what happens is when we get the first kind of real looking bounce to come from the low, it normally tricks the market to thinking that it's actually the real low. And then what ends up happening is we end up getting the real low next. And then many times it's associated with a lot of negative news. One of those examples that you guys recently went through here on the channel that we watched that happen with was right there, right? And we had spent time talking about this, being like, hey, look, normally we're going to still reject from here. There's normally going to be one more low, and a lot of times it's going to have negative news associated with it. What happens? We fall down, and then what happens right here at the very bottom? You couldn't script it any better, right? Chris Larson gets hacked for $100 million, right? Major Ripple guy, right? Then everybody starts questioning, oh no, what does that mean for Ripple? Will anybody trust Ripple? They're now going to be $100 million of selling pressure. How will any banks ever trust Ripple if one of the head guys can't even keep his XRP safe? It was like the perfect FUD to come right there at the bottom and scare the market. Yesterday, we actually got some pretty good news, right? If you didn't catch it, the SEC is no longer going to pursue Ethereum. Ethereum got its second all clear, right? So if you remember a couple months ago, maybe a month or two ago, there was the whole drama about the SEC investigating Ethereum. Well, now they're not anymore. Ethereum is in the clear once again. So a lot of good news right in there. But, you know, I always say to myself, okay, well, usually the first low is the one that everybody thinks is the low. And then we get the one that is the one that scares everybody out. And so, you know, my thoughts are that we're in kind of like a moment like that right there. And we get some news that's got everybody kind of like, oh, I got to buy because the news is so great. We're all good. But we haven't seen that one that will shake them all out yet. And we're not talking about like going super deep or anything like that. We're just talking about there's usually one more little flush here that ends up happening. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And just being cautious that that's where we're at. And like even when you're looking on Bitcoin like this, we're talking like this, right? The first low, you think it's the real one. You think that's the bottom. It's all good. It goes and takes out the low one more time. Just barely scares the market to death. Everybody's panicked. Everybody's running. 12K, right? 12K. And then you have to understand, why do people continue to say 12K? Because the price gets away from them. And so that's just kind of what ends up happening. And just so you do know, it's mostly cope. When people are doing that, when they're screaming for lower, when the price is getting away from them. How to tell if somebody sold a bottom is if they're screaming for price to come down after it's been ripping to the upside. That's typically people who've gotten left behind. And so I don't think we've had that scare yet. It's been really fascinating to watch how prices have been coming down without any kind of narrative. And that's always interesting, right? This market loves its narratives. It loves to have fundamental news and analysis to say why things are happening the way they are. And we just haven't had that thing to spook people. But many times what we do have is just this little thing, and then we spook them out right there, and then it goes, right? And that there's some type of catalyst in here. And I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds like nonsense, but it's a lot of times what we do end up seeing. So that's kind of what I'm sitting here anticipating and kind of waiting on and being prepared. If you don't keep emotional logs, if you don't do any of that, it might be a good time to start thinking about it. Because this is how things can get really wishy-washy and make you question everything and your convictions. If we do end up getting that. And so if we end up seeing that, and regardless of news or not, this is my point of interest. I do have stops set higher. I will get pulled back in on the stops that all got taken out in here. I will get pulled back in the event that it gets carried away. But I am being a little bit greedy here right now and looking for that. And maybe it doesn't even set the new low, but looking for something like that to pull it back down in there. And that's where Senor YOLO comes out. But yeah, check out today's video. We talked all about it and kind of go through a lot of the different examples in there of how those things play out. But these are really good examples in here for you just to kind of go study and see how they pan out and how they play out. And even right in there, you can see that how it happens, right? The low gets taken out. Oh, hey, this is it. That's it. We're done. Nope. Just one more. And then the rest is history after that, right? So it's not like we're too far away. And it is just me being a little bit greedy, kind of wanting to grab that one. So that's where I'm at right now with all of it currently right now. And just things are looking all right. Things are looking all right. Moving along, right? Bitcoin, not a whole lot to say about Bitcoin, still just in this giant range. I know everybody's pointing to the upside. I'm having a hard time seeing that or seeing a clear picture outside of it just ranging in here. But we'll see how that thing ends up panning out in there. I posted about this over there on Twitter. I've seen people have made YouTube videos about it. But, this is the total market cap of crypto measured in XRP. And there's only been a couple of times in history that we've ever been at these types of levels in regards to how undervalued XRP is versus the rest of the market. Things that we do see that are very interesting in here, of course, is the massive weekly bearish divergence that is emerging up here at the top of that range. We also actually are finally getting, look at that little red guy right there. You're getting a MACD flip happening here at the historical top boundary. And so this is fascinating to see in here just how price has reacted whenever we've had moments like this happening from way up in here. And that is definitely a super bear divergence in there. And then, the momentum of the market versus XRP totally running out in there. So super interesting to see that. Still waiting for some follow through to show up in there. But as you could see, sometimes when they follow through, boy, do they. All right, that's that. As for the stock market, no change in here. We still sit really exactly where we sat last week. No breakouts happening in here to either side. And again, the stock market is closed today due to the Juneteenth U.S. dollar currency index. Oh, we still have this thing. There we go. U.S. dollar currency index. Boy, just the longest range. How long have we been in here now? Since December of 22. Over November, over a year and a half. So over a year and a half in here, being within this range. And yeah, there you have it. I mean, even this, like this is why it's complicated with Bitcoin. Like, what if Bitcoin is just something like that, right? Like everything you got going on in here right now. That's my suspicion. I think it's a lot more complicated than people think. But yeah, there you go. So DXY still below historical danger zone, not giving us any type of big breaks in here. You could see what actually ended up happening last week, I believe, right? Got back up to a 702 retracement of this current fall in here. Now pulling back in here, but we'll see how things go when the market opens up tomorrow. There's nothing unlikely to see any type of big action over there in any type of metals DXY or futures trading on a holiday. Looking over there at gold, gold still sits up there at 23.29. It has been range bound in here since early April, so we're going on over 2 months of being stuck in this range currently right now. And I believe that's that. I believe that gives us everything for the markets right now. So Bitcoin still just, then we're watching over here on others. Catch today's video for further discussion of that and discussions of bottoms. And then you guys already saw that, DXY, gold. We've done comparisons in here for bottoms that you can have that throwback. And then the scary one where everybody gets petrified. Some news, something that shakes you at your core, something that tells you, don't touch. There you go. All right. All right, just kind of giving you examples here, right? How your lows come in. Okay. Moving over to the news. Russia and North Korea sign a partnership deal that includes mutual defense pact. Solar is growing faster than any electricity source as big tech seeks clean energy for data centers. These are Wall Street's favorite S&P 500 picks for the second half. Let me guess. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Google, Netflix. That's it. That is it. Nothing else. Okay. Israel warns Lebanon of prospect of all-out war as U.S. seeks to de-escalate hostilities. UK inflation falls to Bank of England's 2% target ahead of the elections. Hot dang! Good for them. NVIDIA and other mega cap. Sorry. Joe Bidening over here. NVIDIA and other mega cap stocks are extremely overbought and could be due for a near-term pullback. Okay. Bitcoin block size hits yearly low. Impact of Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin price uptrend intact with hodlers 120% in profit. Ethereum's recent pullback could be a gift, says Dynamo DeFi, the X Hall of Fame. Crypto clicker games need real token use cases to be sustainable. SECs to drop the investigation into Ethereum, says Consensus. 41% of top ZK airdrop wallets have already sold everything. Bitcoin price clusters hint at more downside. Is Bitcoin about to lose 64K support? Ooh. ZK Sync token launches amid network load RPC issues. Buy the dip? Question mark. Bitcoin price drops to new 1 month lows of 64K. I have a feeling this was written yesterday or the day before. Ronin to scale Web3 games with new ZK EVM. All right, last thing on the news. Here we go. CoinDesk. I'm surprised these guys don't have it right here. Oh, there it is. Okay. Martin, oh boy, Shkreli says he is behind the Trump-linked DJT as Zach XBT and GCR start poking around. The relatively new token created ripples in the crypto community on X this week over its supposed existence as the official Donald Trump token, but it turns out one of its, okay, yeah, cool. There's like 48,000 different DJT tokens now. SEC ends its probe into Consensus, and it won't sue over Ethereum. The U.S. regulator closed its investigation into Ethereum 2.0, Consensus says. Hey, it's good for all of crypto. Now let's go ahead and end the whole, get Ripple's thing done with, and let's all wash our hands with all this and move on. Radix's new $10 million ecosystem fund is paving the way for DeFi's mass adoption. Protocol Village Arcana announces chain abstraction protocol to remove complexities of bridging. Marathon's Layer 2 chain on Duro plugs in portal to Bitcoin for atomic swaps. Okay, this is all quite a bit of stuff in there. Okay. All right. I don't think we have anything really super news related in here. Everybody's speculating about the price of Bitcoin. Nobody knows what's up. You just see constantly, are we going to go to the moon? Oh no, are we going to lose 64K support, which is a product of just being in a range for this long, right? There's no trend. It's just that. The big news, of course, is that it's over with the SEC and Ethereum, which, you know, a lot of people speculate there's corruption there, right? And I've often made the argument, I'm like, okay, if you believe there is corruption, then why aren't you placing your bet on that side? Why are you betting against it? Bet with it. Why haven't you bet with it? That's been the question. Okay. If it's the chosen one, why haven't you bet on it? Okay. So, all right, there you go. Keep our eyes on this in the coming days. Look for the market to get spooked. But I think we're in the process of doing some bottoming action in here, which has me pretty excited right now. And otherwise, when it comes to the market, I think that pretty much covers it. Check out today's video. I've already put it out. It's 13 minutes, so easily digestible. You don't even have to play it on 2x, but you can if you want. But it's short enough to get across the point. So that's what we got going on today. One more time, happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
It is Wednesday, my dude. It is Wednesday. Dudes.
Alrighty. Time to hop into the chat. Thank you. We have 1,700 people in here. We got 450 likes. If you guys could, please hit the like button. It's the number one way to support the channel. All you have to do is hit the X to close out the chat, hit the like button, and then just hit live chat. And the whole process takes 2 to 3 seconds. I appreciate it. Okay. Gator. Right out the gates. I appreciate that, Gator. Before the stream even started, you had gifted 10 memberships, man. Brother, thank you. So generous, my man. XP Market as well, member for 14 months. Blockchain backer, thanks for guiding us with your fearless wisdom. Your knowledge helps us shake off doubts and sparks a love story with crypto. Heart and frog. Thanks, brother. Hot Tub Brian. Dude, thanks, man. Hot Tub Brian dropped a bomb. It's barbecue season, people. Get yourself some meat and enjoy family, friends, and this life. BCB PTW wants a brisket. Please make her wishes a reality. Have a wonderful day, y'all. There it is. Hot Tub Brian, that's about what it costs, right, man? All right, brother. I'll start playing with her. I'll talk with her. Very generous, but now you are going to cost me a full day. Thank you, man. Michael J. Love, member for 14 months, says it's Wednesday, my dudes and dudettes. Yeah, I guess we always have to say that because it always says dudes. There are about four, look around, 4% of these people here are the ladies. Thank you, Michael. Texas Takeover member for 14 months. What's up with all these 14-monthers? XP Market, Michael J. Love, and Texas Takeover, all 14-monthers, man. Happy Wednesday, my dude. Thank you, man. Wesley, hey, BCB, thank you for all you do. Genuinely scary times. I'm confident in your analysis and trust that you far more than anyone else. I hope expansion happens. Thank you, Wesley. Yeah, no, it's... So, like, right now is not necessarily as scary for me. I mean, the scariest time is at the retracement level. And I think I tried to kind of portray that. That's the scariest time. Right now, I don't know necessarily that this is so much of a scary time. But I think another scary time will come. And it's, again, if we get back up there. If we get back up there, once again, it's the repeating same stuff over and over again. Here we are. We're back into the retracements again. Now it's scary. Like, if you can go back and watch this video that I put out right here on this day, right on Friday, Thursday or Friday. It must have been Thursday. I think the exact words I used in that video were, I don't know the exact words, but it was along the lines of like, when I'm looking at these prices right now, I don't feel FOMO. This is the area of concern because this is where rejections can happen from. And I know I talked about it in exactly like those terms. Like this is the area, like I don't feel FOMO. I don't feel excitement here. Whereas the market was getting a little bit riled up that maybe something could happen. But due to being back here, this was the concern happening in here. And so again, like right here, it's not so much that it's like super scary. It's getting back up there, and it's like, all right, now it gets scary again, because now it's like, all right, now we did a whole pull down. Now here we are back into retracement levels, and then it becomes, all right, now do we do this whole thing all over again to the downside, right? And so this area right here in particular isn't too scary really to me. It's more when we get back there. And the sentiment is always the opposite, right? So like right now, most of the market's going to be nervous, unsettled, feeling like trash. And we get back up in here, the market's going to be euphoric, optimistic, and excited again. But this is where all of our danger resides once again, right? And that, markets don't tend to move down in a straight line forever. They tend to move back into retracements, and then, then you go from there. And so then our big question is going to come from here. Then it's going to be, can we get out? And this is, again, going to be an area where people are going to sell it and let the market decide where it's going to go from there. And then if it can get to here and then there, then guess what? We are officially in expansion if we can get to that moment right in there. But this area in particular, not too scary. It's more of getting back up there. That would be the nerve-wracking thing for me. And of course, it's like always playing against the emotional herd, the emotional group, because what will happen then at that time, content creation will be very tailored around going to the moon. And of course, I've got to be playing on that cautious side again. It's never fun. Yeah, but right now I get to play the optimistic guy, which is good. Ben. Hey, BCB, I wanted to ask if you have information that we can't know, like some connections to Wall Street analysis or someone who knows someone. I wanted to ask if you have information that we can't know, like some connections to Wall Street analysts or someone who knows someone. I do not. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. But I don't. Jim, thank you, Ben. 8 months. Jim, corduroy pillows are making headlines. I don't get it. I feel like I just got pranked. Thanks, Jim. Pat gifted 10 BCB memberships. Pat, man, as always, dude. Thank you very much. The Whiskey Reaper says Ethereum gets XCC pass, but XRP will get SEC boost to the moon. Have a ribeye and a whiskey. Blockchain backer, cheers. I see you. Brother, thank you very much, Whiskey Reaper, man. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully this is the warm-up act for XRP's conclusion with all of this stuff. Arm Day. Hey, BCB. Good morning, BCB. Thoughts on Bitcoin Cash? Going back to the 600-ish price area. Or is it over? And money has flowed to other alts. Gosh, are we really going to do Bitcoin Cash analysis? God, I just want to wash my hands of this thing. It got to like $800. 720. Yeah. Technically speaking, it's the same thing as the rest of the market, right? There's nothing different in here compared to the rest of the market. Still, this thing probably has a flush down in here. Moving back with the rest of the market again, $600. Is it unreasonable to think it'll go back into a retracement? I would think it seems reasonable that it would. Of course, one of the issues, the things that we've been talking about really for when did we start this? October. For the last almost 10 months has really been focusing more on where are those users, where are those developers, where are people participating in networks at, right? And of course, this one isn't showing up in any of that type of data, right? So you're kind of just playing the chart without any real genuine demand behind it, unless there's something happening that we don't know about, whether there's more ETFs that are being built out and they're accumulating this thing to include them into the ETFs, right? Who have been the ones that have like historically had that free pass? And I know Ethereum, obviously everybody whines and complains about Ethereum, but Bitcoin Cash has been one that has had it. Bitcoin Cash is not a security. Bitcoin Cash was part of a hard fork for Bitcoin back in 2017. So every Bitcoin wallet got airdropped Bitcoin Cash. So the distribution model is totally just an airdrop. The other ones, of course, Ethereum and Ethereum Classic and Litecoin, right? So those have all kind of been in there. So, you know, you've always been able to get Bitcoin Cash on things like Robinhood and on like PayPal and every single exchange. So it kind of has like regulatory, like it doesn't have the regulatory uncertainty attached to it. But outside of like people using it, you know, I don't know. I mean, just even from a minimal of a retracement level, it seems reasonable. It seems reasonable. Your question about 600. Pin. Thank you, Arm Day. Pin says the market is pumping only with the stock market closed. Is it a coincidence that we pump when institutions can't dump ETF Bitcoin? Thanks for your best. I don't think so. I think it was more that we've reached the support. Like we talked about yesterday morning in yesterday morning's video. The whole thing was like, hey, like we've seen several of these actually hitting these actual supports that we've been watching. And now let's see if they can hold for the rest of the day. Boom, they do. And so you have like a confluence of multiple supports that happen in here. We have an area targeted for the altcoin market from back in April. Then you have Arbitrum and Cosmos both holding on top of their actual low supports. And then we also had Cardano hitting the actual target that somehow, some way was marked there for like 6 months at least. There's probably a tremendous amount more that hit at the same time. I just haven't had the time in the last 24 hours to dig through every asset of the market when trying to build more of a broader market perspective. But personally, I don't think it's more related to the markets being closed, but more so that we actually reached the level of convincing people that the bottom is here, which I think we're very close. I think we're very, very close. If not, the bottom is already in. But like I put in today's video and like I've already talked about here in Markets in the Morning, my speculation is that we actually do get the thing that spooks everybody, something like that, and then we can go. And if again, this is one of those moments where you could say magical unicorn fairy dust, puppet master spawn, the puppet strings god, or simulation, or the whole world is a stage. If we get something, some type of earth-shattering news that happens down in there at that particular moment, you will know it's all a load of crap. everything. So, all right, moving on. Larry Chisholm. Good morning, BCV. Hey, thank you very much, Larry. Is there any value in charting support and resistance with pairings such as XRP Bitcoin and others Bitcoin? Hope you're enjoying the summer with the fam. I only find it when we're like going back into retracements. Otherwise, I'm not really looking at it too closely. But a lot of times we will see them like when we're actually in the thick of a moment of where we're moving up in the market. We'll find resistances in certain spots, but otherwise from day to day, I don't really spend much time looking at them. Quojo, what's your emotional log look like these days? I haven't kept my emotional log in several years, and I was texting with Eric yesterday, and I was telling him, man, I wish I had it. What did I say to you, Eric? Go read my message. Sorry, I'm being quiet because I'm reading my phone. It's pretty dope. If I had an emotional log, okay, here we go. As I said, yeah, I've got examples. I said it's pretty dope. If I had an emotional log going, I would recognize this is exactly how the bottom came in during 2022. That's why I've been making videos about it, because it's really the exact same thing of how the bottom actually came in 2022. But I feel like I've handled it pretty calm. Again, like. And I think it's from experience of like when we were in here, right? When the market was going back into the retracements, I was kind of an emotional nut job up there of worry and concern. And all my content reflected it, right? Like in my videos every day, every video put out, every Markets in the Morning put out, bcbacker.com videos and newsletters, every piece of content in March and April. I'm selling, I'm taking profits. And then we have, then you have content creators posturing against me, making videos, trying to, posture themselves as the new superheroes. And then that was emotionally difficult because I was on the opposite side. And, even all retail investors are characterizing bears as terrible human beings, as if you're worried about being at a retracement level makes you an evil human bear. I don't get it. It was a weird time. That was an emotionally weird spot because I knew not to be in the emotional euphoria spot. I knew this is where the crowd was emotionally euphoric, right? Extreme euphoria, irrational exuberance, extreme risk taking, right? So I was on the polar opposites of that. And then, when we have this flush, this is a period where anybody who is fully long the market would have probably felt extreme pain in here, but I wasn't in that position. And then, it was staring at the charts, watching it closely, and then just nailed the bottom, grabbing the bottom here at like 227. And then in here, I had made a decision that I was just going to automate everything and not like worry, oh, does it look like it's moving? Oh, no, I got to get out. Oh, no, I got to get in. No, I got to get out. I was like, look, I'm just going to shift stops up and not think about it, not worry about it, and not do anything. And if we go down, then my thoughts are going to be that we're actually just going to do this. And so going through this hasn't truly been that much of an emotional problem for me. I think it's just because of experience and having not been surprised at the retracement level. I think, the problem comes when you get if you just got 100% blindsided by the retracement happening. Then it created kind of a cluster of problems throughout the whole rest of the thing. And I'm looking out there, everybody's leverage longing. Like everybody's leveraging the heck out of, we don't even have the name of coins, everything, right? And not listening. How stupid could you be, BCB? Like, don't you understand this is a bull market? Bitcoin to moon, all-time highs. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's been stuck there since that day, right? And, I think emotionally, the only thing I'm just really struggling with seeing Bitcoin right now. I'm really struggling with what everybody's pointing to. Up, right? And it's hard to know, is this a coping mechanism for Bitcoin? I mean, at the bottom, they all the major accounts were saying 12K, right? Like 12K, 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 12K. Well, now the herd is all long Bitcoin, so now all the content is associated around pointing up, and I'm struggling with this. And I say this is the only thing I'm just like, I don't smell it like what everybody else is smelling, and maybe it'll show up. I don't know, but I don't have a clear picture on this thing. Zooming to the parabolic craziness. Dear God, please do it. It'd be completely fine. It'd give some sincere hope that this thing can not just go to retracements and have to worry about the retracements, but that it can actually zoom off and go into true expansion. I'd say that's probably emotionally the only thing that I'm like getting kind of tired of beating my head around it. Of like, are you really gonna go like? And that's the thing. Here we are. What do you mean, June? Like all month, March, Bitcoin's going to be to 100K in no time. April, Bitcoin's going to be at 100K in no time. May, Bitcoin definitely going to 100K in no time. June, here we go. Bitcoin's going to 100K right now. And it's not. Like, and so I haven't seen it, and it's been difficult to like watch everybody else being like, I see it, we're going. And of course the range just still continues there. So that's just been it's been a difficult one. I don't know. Emotionally okay. I think if I had been fully long my whole bag the whole time during this, probably pretty rough. If I had no sideline cashed right here, or thinking this was coming, probably pretty rough. But no, I'm feeling pretty good. But yeah, I don't keep an emotional log anymore. I think for me, the emotional log was really just about truly recognizing this and changing my behavior. And it's not until you go back, and I pray there were people who kept emotional logs in here. If you kept your emotional log of it. So like when I originally did mine, I got to truly see how depressed I got during down periods. How self-deprecating I was, talking down to myself, and feeling like an utter loser. And then I got to really see how euphoric I got when prices got high. And then not only writing about how euphoric I was, but also commenting about what it was like on social medias. Like one of those things too that I still even have in my emotional log, and this is like for super OGs. This isn't going to let me go that. I got to get in a bigger time frame. For those in the XRP community, it was like right here where Bearable Guy 123 put out like the Queen Don't Stop Me Now thing. And like I remember jamming that, and I remember being in this moment and being like, man, I feel so good. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Yeah. And everybody's like having a great time on Twitter and everything like that. And then, you know, I go on and, you know, just kind of reflect on what this moment has been like in here, right? I mean, like 5 clear waves to come to the conclusion in here. Long ranging action happening in here. Right. 5 waves, right? And euphoria strikes again throughout the market again. So I don't know, you know. All right, we're moving on. Carl, a fable. Hey, BCB, it's safe to say to only be in coins that are above their 200 MA on the stage. Happy Polywag Day. So, thank you, Carl. Very generous. Appreciate it. I haven't really looked through the 200 MAs right now. I'm not so certain that it really mattered. Like in... These are always good ones right in here. I don't know. I don't know. I'll look into it. Carl. I haven't looked at them. I wouldn't necessarily think so. that it matters too much at this point. Again, this is all the percentages game. There's going to be stuff like, just for example, let's look at like Solana. Let's say you're going to chase a 4.236 extension on Solana at this point. It's 678%, right? Let's see, like Atom. Let's look where Atom. That was the one that hit the bottom, right? Not that I'm saying Atom would only do a retracement, but even if it did, it's not as good. not a good example. How about Cardano? How are you, Cardano? It's about 550 back to the 786 and stuff like that. But again, even if it does do that, well then, hey, that's way more, right? Is this above? Is this below? These are below, right? So these are below the daily 200-day moving averages in here. I don't know. I don't know if I'd fully count on moving averages. Some of the, like, remember, do not be fooled. In 2021, only 22% of coins touched a new all-time high. That does not even mean they went to 4.236 extensions. That just means touched, right? What were things that touched new all-time highs? It doesn't show stellar limits on here, but come on one of these charts it did. We even count that. All right, stellar limits was one, barely, right? How about Litecoin? Litecoin was one that touched. Right? Litecoin, right? That counted in the 22%. I'm not going to be fooled to think that it's going to be any different this time around either. And for some of these, a 4.236 extension from its current location does not necessarily equate to more percentages from where something else is. But again, I am placing bets on stuff that I think has the likelihood of going into a new all-time high. It's why I do all that research. It's why I put out all that stuff and all that content. We're talking about TVL. We're talking about developer activity. It's because we played with the statistics. We said, how can we increase the odds from 22% to something higher, right? How can you increase your odds to 45%? How can you increase your odds to 55%? Where could you pull from to make it higher, right? And we found various traits that all improved those odds. Good luck finding anything that's 100%. I can tell you right now, I've spent enough time on it. There's nothing. Nothing I have found that is going to give you 100% hit rate. But can you get above 22%? Yes. But to think that you're going to have, like, to be real, for most people, if you think more than 30% of your coins are going to go into a new all-time high, you're sadly mistaken. Probably not. And especially if you don't, like, if you're just letting cartoon bears on Twitter tell you what coins to buy, if you're letting influencers give you their bull cases on coins and you're not looking at the data yourself and you're totally dependent on some dude on Twitter saying, buy this because of this, and then every day you have to go onto Twitter and ask that influencer, hey, are you still bullish on this? Do you still like this coin? I'm getting nervous. Do you still like it? If you don't have your own conviction for anything, then why are you in it, right? So data. I'm leaving it at that. We're moving on. All right. Mr. Q, thanks for everything, BCB. Did you meet the Puppet Master? Just kidding. How's your son? Hope he's okay. Oh, thank you for asking. It has been an absolute miracle with my son. Absolute miracle. We had the urgent care tell us he was going to lose his teeth. We had a completely separate dentist, unrelated to the urgent care, tell us he was going to lose his teeth, even after giving him x-rays. We went to an oral surgeon and brought the x-rays with us to the oral surgeon, and the oral surgeon told us he was going to lose his teeth. He has lost 0 teeth, and they all believe he's going to be fine and that he's not going to lose any teeth. So it has been a dang miracle, and thank you for asking. Spencer Goulmain, can we still consider this spring in Wyckoff? Yes. JB Estrada, thank you very much, man, Spencer. JB Estrada, member for 7 months. BCB, is the class of 21 about to graduate? I hope you enjoy your birthday, Summer. Happy birthday to the channel. Let's go. Here's the reality. Here is the reality. Most people aren't going to sell anything at the top. You just get too greedy at the top. The only way you graduate is to sell anything. People who have a chance, or if they did take any profits in here, if they did sell anything and they had a little bit of self-discipline in here and took some money off the table in here, then you got to experience what it is like to sell during a moment of euphoria, and stick to your guns and fight through that and know what that feels like, and to do it even when everybody around you is screaming it and all the content creators around you are screaming it. You got to bypass through that terrible wall of what that feels like, and so now you have the experience under your belt. Those people have a pretty good chance. If you didn't sell anything at the retracements, you didn't take any profits, you didn't do anything, then you still have that big emotional overhang that you're going to have to learn how to fight through, and hopefully you're going to be able to do that at some point, where it's going to be extremely exciting, extremely euphoric. You're going to look at your bag. You're going to run the math on what your portfolio is worth. You're going to go through the dream of saying, well, if they're only 5X's from right here, I never have to work another day in my life, so I'm not going to sell, because if I can hit that target, I can hit that dream, then I'm good. I don't have to do anything. And not going to sell anything. So a lot of people don't, you get through one cycle, but then you get to the next one, and then you still kind of make the exact same mistakes. So there will be some, but it takes practice. It's not an easy game. It's not as easy as just looking at a chart, even though it should be, right? 702 retracement, pinpoint nails it. It doesn't matter, because all the other things around you hurt you. And it's almost like if you didn't have social media, if you didn't watch YouTube, if you didn't pay attention to any of it, and you just saw it hit the 702 and said, I'm going to take some off the table because we're at the 702, and not listen to people tell you their bull case, it would have been fine. But I pray to God, point of me even doing this, I want to have a positive impact on the world. I pray about it at church, man. I talk about it with my pastor, man. And I try to teach him way more than just the charts, but the psychological part of it all too. Because there's difficult parts. There's euphoria. And then if there's a negative news event right here, it's going to scare the S out of everybody. Scare the S out of everybody. And then there's going to be people who just sell it down here. There's going to be people who do it. They're going to let go of it all here. They bought it all here. They will let go of it at that moment if there's negative news that comes out right there. And that's half the battle, half the game is fighting through that crud. So, all right, move on. Black Cat, is Flare sending us a signal to buy? I don't know, man. It's inevitable. The final market cap is still following in Ethereum Classics and Validated. No, Filecoin's doing what the rest of the market is doing. Sebastian Albers, watching from Zanzibar, Tanzania, on our honeymoon. Can you shout out to my wife, Clara, who is nearby? Okay, wait, hold on. Let's start over here. Sebastian, you're in Zanzibar on your honeymoon with your wife, Clara. So that's cool. It's probably one of your first times to type wife, and you did that here. You've just called her your fiance for like the last year, and your girlfriend for like the year prior to that. Well, Clara, congratulations. Sebastian went through with it. I'm sure you're having a wonderful time. Have a great time. And thank you for allowing Sebastian to hang out with me all the time. Have a great trip. Carl, I forgot to thank you for doing these live streams on Wednesdays. Time with family is a premium, so you carving out time for us is very much appreciated. Carl, I appreciate it, man. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on the videos again. That has been the staple of the channel for forever, and it feels good to do those. It's fun to do those again. I get to let my creativity go through with it. It's not like I'm having to think on the fly. I know that sounds crazy, but I get up on here for about an hour for markets in the morning. I have to keep my mouth rambling at the whole time because if it just gets really quiet, then it's weird. So my mouth has to keep moving. And sometimes I don't even know the words that are going to come out of my mouth before they come out. I just keep talking and talking and talking. But with that stuff, I get an opportunity to kind of sit back. There's no time that it has to go live at. Like at this rate, I have to go live right at the time the market opens. I get way more time to just kind of take my time, go through things, think things out very thoroughly, and then put together a video and elaborate on it in an easy to understand way. And I've been getting a lot of positive reception and feedback for that. So I'm happy to do that again. So, but yeah, I appreciate it. And Wednesdays are always special. It's another staple of the channel that we have fun. We celebrate being halfway through the week. But I hope you guys are having a good summer. I'm trying to map out my vacations right now. And that's what's also nice about it is that I can bring the laptop with me and record videos and get videos released a lot easier on vacation. So, okay. That are it. We made it an hour. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. So I'm going to go ahead and start closing up shop. Again, markets are closed today. It is Juneteenth, celebration of the Emancipation Proclamation here in the United States. You guys, of course, check out the newsletter over there. All that data was put out and dumped out there on that last one about how the performance of from their lows to their peaks so far in the cycle that we've seen so far when it comes to that total value lock, that developer activity, and all that good gravy. It's got a 32-minute audio recording. It's released on there. Of course, check out bcbacker.com for 40 videos and 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. Otherwise, what do we do? Slow-mo? Hit that like button on your way out. Feel free to say that. All right, there you go. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. What have I done? Wrong one. There we go. There we go.
It is Wednesday, my It is Wednesday,
All right. All right. All right. Oscar gifted 5 BCB memberships. Man, thank you very much, brother. My dude. Thank you. JB Estrada, BCB, you're a good man and you're doing the Lord's work. Blessings to you and your family. You've been a blessing to my family. Geez, JB. Thanks, man. You've been around for forever, dude. Thank you very much, man. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Keep an eye out for today's video. It's already been released. Jake Booth says, hey, BCB, I can hear your excitement in your voice. I have a feeling we'll see a video or markets in the morning with your NFT, the event starting off soon. We have to get into expansion. We get into expansion, this whole thing goes nuts. Andrew says, hey, BCB. Geez, you guys are going crazy. I'm trying to get out of here. Hey, BCB, I sold my Bitcoin near the top, my DOT near the top at around 52, and some Ethereum that wasn't locked for around 4K. XRP of no cash. XRP no cash, but more XRP? Good or bad? Buy more XRP? I don't know. For me to get excited about XRP, with the current price action that we're at right now, this is what would get me excited, that just getting out of here, right? Then it'd be, my expectations would be, we do a whole lot of this after that. Okay, that there'd be a whole lot of another range that comes out of that. But as of right now, I think it really needs to prove first, get above these levels right in here. It's not too far away, but it's like underneath it, and it needs to get above it to have structural excitement for me right now. The thing that it can't do to maintain any type of bullish structure would be to go take out these lows, to start getting out below 41 and 42. I think long term, just massive devastation to the chart if it goes below 41 or 42 cents. And so I don't see any reason to be going crazy at 49, and you can just wait for like 55, 56 to get a little bit of confirmation of it kind of being in a safer zone, is my thoughts. All right, Andy, 5 memberships, brother. Thank you very much, guys. All right, I'm wrapping it up. Thank you all for tuning in. It was so great to see you all. I appreciate you tuning in and being here with me on a Wednesday, and we're only 2 days from the weekend. So let me see if I can figure this out. You go like that. You turn the volume way down, and then you go, all right. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need to pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.